Are you training for the next big race and unsure what to do with your nutrition? Well, take advantage of Precision Fuel and Hydration's free online planner. It'll help you figure out exactly how much carbs, sodium, and fluid you need to smash your goals. I swear by their 90-gram resealable gel on all my long runs and recently used it at the Ballarat Marathon. Click the link in the show notes, use the planner, and get 15% off your first order with the code INSIDERUN15. Support the Inside Running podcast and boost your performance. Now let's dive into this week's episode. Welcome to episode number 365 of the Inside Running podcast. A massive thank you for being with us for another week. Big show coming at you this week. We've got our Burnie 10 results to give you. We might also have a guest from the Burnie 10 world record chat with a Valencia Half Marathon, a big Aussie performance at the Frankfurt Marathon, listen to question, moose on the loose, and a bit to talk about in what's coming up as well. A massive, thanks for giving us your attention. Hopefully get you through the next 90 minutes if you're out there for a bit of a run. Welcome to my co-host. He's up in Canberra. Bradley Croker, how are you this week?
Good, thanks, Brady. Got through a bit of running last week off the back of that sore Achilles, and it's pulled up fairly well. Like every run that I've done, it hasn't sort of deteriorated, so I've just slowly increased the load and may even start back some light sessions this week.
Okay, that's all positive. My other co-host down in Anglesea, the 214 man, Julian Spence. How are you?
Yeah, good. Back on the horse after getting bucked off violently a couple of weeks ago.
Are you guys going with like aggressive comebacks here, or are you just going to give it a few weeks, a month? Like, have you guys got anything in your calendar for the rest of the year?
Got the Mulligan's Flat Track Club handicap a couple of weeks before Chrissy.
Okay.
That's funny because I got a full series of handicap races coming up.
Oh,
Surf Coast Track Club
handicap
have
races.
Summer series.
You want some tips on handicap races?
These are proper ones where everyone still runs the same distance. You just go off at timed intervals.
Oh,
so
okay.
I got a 3K coming up.
Yeah, that's how ours works as well.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't want someone running short. That's a bit shit. You don't actually know what time you've run. So at least like we do a 3K in a couple of weeks, then we do a 5K, then we're doing a 15K hilly tempo just before the knockoff drinks for the year. Roo runs included in the series, Dawnbusters 5K, and then the Surf Coast Track Club 10K, which will be in early Jan, will be the finale. So that's what the idea, to give people motivation after they might have come off a marathon and encourage people back to the track.
So this is a new thing. You've never spoken about this in previous years.
No, new series.
Copying Mulligan's Flat.
Hey?
Copying our handicap moose.
Yeah, we could have a little bit of a team battle. Could do River Bats versus Mulligans versus Surf Coast somewhere. Maybe Roo Run.
Oh, the Roo Run.
A couple of weeks down.
Good, nice plug, Moose.
Yeah, that's good from you.
Hey, non-profit down there, mate. Non-profit. So it's no plugs when it's non-profit. Brady knows that.
Yeah. I started my ambassador role last night on Instagram when I saw that entries were open. So yeah, get him out, get him in if that's what you're doing. Roo Run.
I'll be on the track. It's not aggressive. We can't afford to be aggressive at our age. That's insane. We just would get hurt and beat up, and I'm already sore from jogging, so can't do more than what I'm doing. I'm at my limit already.
You're not going to spike up, are you, for these shorter ones?
Not a chance. No way. I've already picked out my race shoe, though, for the track.
Vaporfly 3. That's good on the track.
Saucony Endorphin Elite.
Okay.
You ever get a pair of them?
No, Endorphin Pro, I reckon, was the last one I got.
Oh, I love the Elite. I put it away. I did a 30K run, hard run once, and my foot went numb in it. And so I just put it away in the cupboard and didn't touch it for the rest of the training cycle, and then kind of forgot about it. And then I busted it out for some hill sprints the other day, and fuck, it was nice. I just remember thinking, wow, this is a great super shoe. One of my favorites, top 2 or 3 at the moment, maybe top 2.
I still rate the original Endorphin Pro as maybe not a marathon shoe, but it was a very good racing flat.
Yeah, that was fast.
I remember the first session I did, and that was like a 10 by minute on minute float, and it felt amazing for that sort of session.
Second super shoe ever. Oh, I think Brooks got one, but it was not super at all. But this was like the second one that come out. First one was obviously Vaporfly 4%. And I reckon this one here was maybe the second, and it was good. And actually, funny story, the guest we've got on tonight, there's a bit of a connection with the Saucony Endorphin Pro version 1.
We have to bring it up.
You know, we put the Molly Seidel episode out yesterday as well for our re-release over the weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That would have been around that time, maybe.
Well, that's how we got the interview. It was a deal with Saucony when she was sponsored by them.
It would have been that time, actually. That would have been it.
2020.
I still use the original Endorphin Pro. I was using it for some of my Hilly Mulligans tempos before Melbourne, and I think I'm even going to use it tomorrow for some 2-minute reps.
Well, that doesn't surprise me considering you're sitting there in a 33-year-old hoodie. And that's not even an exaggeration.
No, it's true. It's a 33-year-old hoodie.
The jumper he's got on is 33 years old.
Same age as his wife, didn't you just say?
Yeah, got it the year Biv was born.
And it fits him. That's a fucking worry, actually.
Yeah, it was my rep sock. I was a goalkeeper. It's my rep soccer jumper.
The worst thing is it's your choice of clothing on a Monday night. What makes you pick that?
It's like my home. It's just my home comfortable jumper that I wear. I don't wear it out anywhere. Just only at home.
You seem to have it on every Monday night. I've heard this story 27 times, I reckon. But anyway, let's talk some running. Moose, take us through your Monday through to Sunday. You've already kind of told us about what's coming up, but take us through how the body felt.
The body did not feel amazing, but it was good to get going again. I've been in the gym a fair bit, like every second day, and I've taken it seriously. So I made a point of like glutes, heavy glute stuff. I'm going to do a bit more around the core because I'm going to Fiji and I just want to look nice on the beach. But no, it's mainly like Pilates and I'm lifting a little bit, but not too much. A little bit of bench press in there until I get home from the beach. But I like it, but it really beats me up. Like I'm fatigued especially in the glutes. Lower back sort of it's like glutey lower back area. So I go out running and I go up a hill and it just feels super tight, sluggish and gross. But I feel like it's good in the long run. And it doesn't really matter when I'm not doing workouts. On this Monday, I actually ran down on the beach. Now, I normally hate the beach, but this was low tide and it was a pretty nice little area. So I ran, I got my feet wet. And just a bit of a shoe education tip. If you go in some salt water at any point, even if you just step in it and it's like super shallow, but it sprays up on you, you got to wash your shoes after it. Like you can't leave that salt water sit on it because it makes the uppers real crunchy, and I reckon they'll start tearing quickly. So just get your shoes in the wash or wash them with fresh water after you do one of these, like if you've got some salt water on them. But that was okay. That was all right. It's pretty windy. Heart rate insane. So I could not believe how high the heart rate was here. And I'm wearing a strap as well. So if I just have a little look, heart rate 133, but like I was stopped a bunch of times. So I was running along at like 145, just at 440s, just struggling, dead flat, not really going well at this point. Next day, went out for a little trail test, got a shoe, the Tarkine Trail Devil 2. So this is an Australian brand that make these shoes. We got a pair to test just to see how we like them before we enter discussions about if they come in the store or not. So I took it out for 40 minutes. Pretty impressed. Like the shape of it. It's a anatomical fit, which means that it's a little bit wider through the forefoot, allows your foot to splay, but it's not sloppy at the back. Probably a little snug. A few little areas they can do well, but this was a nice shoe for me. Like, I was happy with it. Then I did Bree's workout the next morning. So we drove down to the river, got out for, she did, what was her workout? 3 by 4 minutes at 4-minute pace, and then 4 minutes at about 4:20. And that was fun. Like, it's good to do a workout with Bree. She doesn't really get to train with anybody like during the week, so she enjoyed it. I liked it. It was like, if you have a look at my heart rate on these laps, high. So for the second rep, my heart rate was 161 beats at 351s. Oh no, 353s. That's normally what I would average if I was running like 320s. So this is me coming back off 2 weeks of no running with one marathon thrown in there. It's a bit of a reality check, and I felt it too. I was puffing next to her. Then I had run club the next morning. We went down to the Torquay triathlon course. So Torquay are having a triathlon, which we're sponsoring as a store. We decided to hold a course check on we're doing 3 run clubs. We park on the Esplanade, go and do the run course, and then we added on. It was good little group. Had a chat to another fella that I'd never met before. He was good, and his name was Ollie. So social little run, ran 10K or so.
Is this triathlon new? Like this?
Yeah,
is the
brand
first
new. So they're taking the angle of, they're not trying to compete with like the Melbourne ones that are a little bit more higher level, chasing experienced people. This one's like for first timers. So it's 400 meter swim, 15K bike ride, and 4K run. And everyone that we're sort of speaking to is just like riding their mountain bikes on it. They might have bike seats still on their bike. They're just, no one has proper wetsuits or anything. They're just going to wing it, or they're wearing surfing wetsuits. So it's good. It's pretty cool. Everyone's pretty pumped for it, actually.
Yeah, that's good fun. Do they have a teams division as well? Like the mates get together and have a go?
I don't know. But I don't think the idea is that many people are like racing. I think there's a junior race that'll be competitive.
Okay.
We encourage people to get down. Like you're Echuca. What do you call someone from Echuca?
Yeah, I know. Oh, I don't know.
An Echucan?
Echucan? I don't know.
Well, Simon says he's coming down to do it, so that'll be good.
Yeah, we got some feedback from him.
Yep, he's from Echuca. Then I did a cool little run the next day. Ran on the trails, got the dog out there on single track. He loves it on single track, so it's just really enjoyable run, and it's really good when you're on a trail when you're not fit, because you're not running fast, but you're getting heart rate spikes all over the shop. It's almost like a fartlek without the impact. It's like cross training. It'd be like getting on an elliptical and just banging away. I find it a very good way to come back, and you're also using a lot of different muscles. You're on soft ground. I encourage people to build back on trails if they can. I think we get a little pressure sometimes around risk factor for trails when we're training a lot. I know a lot of people won't go near a trail for risk of rolling an ankle, but when you're not that fit, I think it offers a lot to the runner. So that was 25. Did some hill sprints afterwards, which I haven't done, and that's something that I'm really going to work on, is just those accessory exercises. So I've been doing drills and strides every second day, and I'm going to do hill sprints on the alternate days just after I run, just 8-second ones, just like little powerful ones, jog back down, go again. And I think my glutes are a bit sore from that too, because that's a real good specific strength session. The next day ran with a couple of run to BB fellas. Got Ryan Cramery, who was unfortunately missed Melbourne Marathon with his bad back, and our man Zach Newman. He came down the coast, and it's like rock star territory when he comes down. So I didn't tell anyone because I didn't want the crowds to be too big. I messaged Crammers and said, "Hey, Zach's coming. Don't tell anyone." And then we run down the Torquay Esplanade, which is where they have parkrun on, and there's a few competitive people there, and they're looking at him as he runs past, and they're just thinking, "Oh, fucking hell! I thought I was on today. I've never won parkrun, and Zach Newman rocks up." And this is the bloke who won Burnley Half in 2019. So easily identifiable.
He didn't win it in 2019. It would have been years before that. Maybe 2014 or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah, my bad. 2019 was the short year, that's right.
That's right,
I get it mixed up. There's two significant years at Burnley. Zach's win and the short year.
He looks good in this photo, though. Good. Half tights. They're both in Ernie Old.
Yeah, it was a real treat. It was a real treat for everyone that morning.
And doesn't he look good?
Yeah, he puts a bit of effort in, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It's not like he just wakes up. He spends some time on this look. He's got this socks, like cool socks matching the shoes, and
you can see why every brand's after him to be like an ambassador.
Yeah, does a lot of brand stuff. Yeah.
Photo shoot, like he's got the shades, he's got a bit of a beard going. Could kind of probably trick people into thinking that he's a Kenyan down there. Especially, it's real scary for the park runners if they thought he was a Kenyan. Next run was a long run. Joined the group on Sunday morning from the info centre. This was another little reality check because I ran an hour 25 and it felt like 3.5 hours for me. That's how sore that's what my legs felt like at the end of this. I ran with the girls, Ali and Bree and Lainey, and also Cam Smith come down, another Surf Coast Trail track runner. So we did 20. Well, we didn't get to 20. We did an 85 minutes. Heart rate doing a lot. Doesn't really look like it because the start was really quite slow and gentle, but towards the end, I just could not get that thing down. So it is a good week for teaching me where I'm at, showing me what I need to do. Got a run in every day, which was pretty good, I thought. And I think I ended up on about 75K or so for the week, which sets me up for this week. Do a couple of little workouts, ready to go for my race on the 15th, I believe it is, around that time.
Okay. Who does the handicapping for these events?
It's going to be Ali. So
okay.
She's the official handicapper. And it's going to be a tough one to do because there's a few blokes coming off marathons like 3 weeks after, 4 weeks maybe. You've got a couple of injured fellas. Some guys just never run on the track in their life. Some guys never raced before. So it's a real eclectic bunch. It's going to be hard to handicap.
Once you do the first one, that will get easier.
Yeah. The first, that's what the free
data.
call.
Yeah.
We'll almost put down a time and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. The first one shouldn't count for any like points in the point system.
First one should be just a race, and you can just set up your handicaps for the season. Although that people will take the piss, won't they? That's what happens in those handicap racing.
That's where Brady would come out and run 12 minutes.
Yeah.
3K.
This is bullshit. Jeff Risley banging on a couple of weeks ago. That was a good memory. I hadn't thought about that race just for years as well when you guys started talking about it with Jeff.
I think you got confused there. Weeks, not years, weeks.
So just he had to give me 85 metres that day. Should have beaten me by 100 metres. Like he should have smacked me up. His PB was like 25 seconds quicker than me.
The only bloke to run a mile that day.
True. Yeah, true. He still couldn't get just one lone wolf out the fact there. That's what they call it, the Easter Monday massacre. All right, that's a good week from you, Moose. It gives you somewhere to go, doesn't it? Like, I feel like we're all in the same boat where it's like you can't get doing too much 2 weeks after the race, but you can kind of set it up to then go 3 and 4 weeks after the race.
Well, you shouldn't be doing too much, really.
No. Now, do you think people get more aggressive now? Like, do people just pull up way better? Like, I'm checking Strava. A lot of people I know in action with you guys at Melbourne. And I'm thinking, geez, I've got to up my game here. I'm not doing enough. But it's a trap.
It is a trap. And Strava's part of the problem because, like exactly what you've done there, people will look at that, especially all the rec runners who sort of look at the elites as the example they should follow. because they know they've been doing it for longer. They've probably got more specific coaching and all that. And it is a trap, because I reckon what happens is they might get some initial advancements on things and be ahead of you a month after the race, but in 2 to 3 months, that's when things plateau, people get broken, and you leapfrog them.
Yep. Even just mentally. But anyway, each their own. Croaks, what have you been doing?
So I started back running. So Monday was my first day of running since the marathon. So I'd had that sort of pretty sore Achilles initially after the race, but then by the Sunday, a week after the race, I was walking around and couldn't notice it. So I thought I'll go and test it on Monday. So after work, I just went out for 25 minutes. It wasn't 100%. I'd say it was maybe like a 2 out of 10. Didn't get any worse. So that was 5.7K at 4:24s. It didn't sort of get sore once it cooled down, and it wasn't particularly sore the next morning. So I thought, well, that's a good sign. Like, that run hasn't really hurt it. So then I went out to group training on Tuesday afternoon out at the track. So I just did the warm up with the group, and then just did a few extra laps around the track while they were sort of changing shoes and doing strides and stuff. So I just did another 25 minutes. That one says 4:15s, probably a bit of mayo on just running around the track, probably a bit extra there. But once again, same sort of thing, probably similar to the Monday run, but didn't get any worse. And then from that point onwards, it actually started to just get better. So Wednesday, I got out for 45 minutes, 4:22s. Thursday, went back just 35 minutes at 4:11s. I think I was in the, I put the old Cloud Monsters on for that one, actually. I haven't run in them much in that sort of Melbourne Marathon prep, but I've always enjoyed those. And then I sort of went a little bit longer on the Friday. So just under an hour at 4:14s, listened to the Road to Valencia, episode 1. So, really enjoyed that. Made the run go super quick.
Strong start from those boys.
Yeah, it'll be a great series.
You can tell
Any
they've got
comments,
a bit of history
comments,
of
disagreements
podcasting.
on the chat?
Didn't you listen to it?
I did, yeah.
Oh, no, sorry, from listening, yeah.
Right.
No, it'll be interesting to see where you take the shoe discussion.
Bad time to be a shoe store owner. Everyone's stopping wearing super shoes.
Like I sort of
Sell up moves.
I sort of agree with part of it. Like I think one of the reasons why I was able to run what I did at Lake Biwa was those super shoes had just come out. So like I was doing all of my training in that lead up to that race in probably the the Zoom Fly. So the training version of the 4%.
Still plated.
Yeah.
High stack plated.
But like long runs were in Pegasus and stuff. Like none of this super trainer for long runs. And then I only did maybe 2 sessions in a super shoe before the race. And so I feel like in training, I'd probably banged up my body a little bit more than I would now, just through shoe choice. And then you get to race day and you've got these like pillows on your feet. So I can see value in it, but then like I have worn the Pegasus in the last week. And I think maybe I reckon you get to a certain age where you've got to weigh up the enjoyment factor and actually being able to just continually get out and run every day versus, okay, maybe the shoe makes your body a bit stronger. But there's a point, when you get to a certain age that it's not that enjoyable feeling all the rocks under your feet. And so
how does it make it strong? How does it make you stronger? Because it beats you up more, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
And if you're getting more beaten up, can you train as often? Generally.
Well, you probably can't do as much.
And so
save this for Jordo Moose tomorrow night.
All right, pepper in. Put him on the spot.
Yeah. Anyway, no, it was
theory up.
Yeah, it was a good chat. I enjoyed it. Find out more next episode with Moose talking shoes. And then Saturday after Little A's, I got out for just under 45 minutes at 4:12. I think I was in the Pegasus for that one. And then
Hang on.
Sunday.
So you've listened to Jordo Donnelly on Road to Valencia and said, I'm going to wear Pegasus as much as possible this week.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you have. You've been influenced.
No. So for me, part of it is one thing that I feel like, and I don't know if this is an age thing or the way that I've been training or the shoes that I've been using, but the way that I cover the ground these days is absolutely terrible. Like I feel, Moose, a few weeks back when you said, I felt like I was covering the ground well, where you go from like being sort of not that fit to all of a sudden just going, oh, I've got some pop here. Like I'm really efficient across the ground. Like I just have not felt like that for so long. The closest I got was probably after Gold Coast. I had those couple of weeks, couple of down weeks, and then I got into doing some hilly tempos out at Mulligan's, and I was using the Endorphin Pro, which, yes, it's a super shoe, but I feel like it's a little bit lower stack. It's a bit more of a traditional racing flat. And it did get me up onto my toes a little bit more. I did actually feel like I was moving better. And then I go onto the track and I start using, like the Asics Edge Paris Sky, the Paris Sky. And I just feel like maybe going into like a lower profile shoe every now and then just gets me moving a little bit better. So that was part of it. And part of the reason why, like tomorrow, I'm doing some 2-minute reps off a slow minute jog. Like I was going to go back to the Endorphin Pros because I feel like that's a shoe that sort of gets me into a better running position. So that was part of it.
I get that for sure. I like the idea of that. I got the same thing. When I put a super shoe on, even though it's a super shoe, I still want to feel for faster reps like it's snappier, like I'm on my toes more.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel like I'm sinking too much into the ground and or into the shoe. I want to feel the ground more. Not even feel the ground. I want to feel response quicker.
Yeah, and I feel like I feel like the traditional marathon shoes now, it's very hard to feel that way because you just get a bit lazy. Like, you can sort of hit the heel and still get, decent result. Whereas those lower profile shoes, you basically have to, you have to hit the right spot. So that was one of the main reasons for it. But it does, it doesn't feel as comfortable as one of, the cushioned high stacked shoes. So anyway, then Sunday I met up with a few of Dick Telford's guys. Cam Myers actually messaged me on the Saturday saying Mulligan's 8 a.m. And I was like, yeah, it sounds good. I'll see you there. So I only ran with him for about 6 or 7K, him and another young guy, Aiden, who I think Aiden's run, so I think he's still under 20s and he ran like 29:30 at the Run Pre 10K. So after about 7K, those guys dropped, like Aaron Parker and myself and Connor Whiteley. So I ended up running 22K at 4:06s. So it wasn't dawdling, and I think Cam was like in the 3:40s for his 20K. So for me, that was a week of 76.5K.
What's the young king like in person? Are he good for a chat and stuff when you're with him?
Yeah. Oh, super mature. Like considering I teach kids people of the same age as Cam, like he's very, very mature. So yeah, but and I said to him afterwards, I said, oh yeah, nice of you to invite me out for a run this morning. It's like, I could just picture him on Saturday morning going, oh, yeah, I'll message this old fucker. I'll show him who's the king of mulligans.
Drop this bitch.
I love that you get a message off him. Solid flex there, Moose from Croaks.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm trying to work that out.
Sees something in him.
Yeah, maybe a bit of mentor role.
I certainly increased the average age of the group. I don't think there's anybody over the age of 30 there.
I like this from you.
You try to go
every Sunday.
Try to go with him when he dropped you, or do you?
Nah, so we went through into like out of Mulligan's into this Guru Yaru section. So you go up a decent little hill, and those guys dropped the hammer, and Aaron and Connor basically weren't sure what they were doing, and we basically then just ran together. And I think Connor said, "I'm glad you boys didn't go with them, like just because." Yeah, like we were running fast enough. Like I actually wore the heart rate strap for that one. I was 145 average, so not too bad.
Cam Myers is lucky this was 2 weeks after Melbourne Moose and not 3 weeks before Melbourne.
He would have learned about real
Croaks would
croaks.
have put him in a hole that day.
Yeah. So, and then we went and had went and had breakfast and watched the live stream of the Burnie 10 just down at a local cafe.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So is this, we make this a weekly thing for you, I reckon, jump in with those boys, become a member of Team Telford.
Get a coach?
Yeah.
Maybe. Actually,
an
Dick,
assistant coach role.
Well, Dick rocked up to breakfast.
Yeah.
I had a good chat with Dick afterwards.
Get him on the show. Get Dick and Cam Myers.
Yeah.
Two separate
I do have to interview Cam. I was meant to interview him basically when he moved coaches. I was going to interview him them. So, yeah, we'll get him on.
We're not going anywhere, Croaks. We've got time to get him on.
Yep.
Go for another couple of years. I'll whip through this week, fellas, because I've got a guest coming in about 5 minutes.
Don't do yourself an injustice.
Just as my neighbour fires up his Harley. Can you hear that motorbike going in the background?
No, not really.
Oh, that's all right. I thought my mic might have been picking it up, but if you can hear anything, that's what it is. Monday was 55 minutes for me at 4:40 pace. Not too much to report there. Tuesday, 60 minutes at 4:36 pace. We're at that age, Croaks, where Hudson's doing the transition to school things. So he has to go for an hour every Tuesday, which is an awkward time, like 9 till 10 a.m. So then I'm going to be running at some weird times on a Tuesday. But that's okay. This time of the year is not about my running and more so trying to get that balance of family life and prioritising other things. So I got out at about 10:30 a.m, I reckon, which is a bit of a weird time to run. Wednesday, did a little workout, did maybe a 3K warm-up, and then I did 3 by 5 minutes at around 3:25 pace. And then I did 3 by 1 minute, around about 3 minute K pace, all with a minute slow jog between. Felt pretty good. Didn't really look at the pace whilst I was doing this. I just wanted to kind of keep the 5 minutes around kind of like tempo effort. And then just the 1 minute's kind of like strides, but going for a 1 minute in duration. Nothing was screaming at me that was like super sore. So kind of got through that one all good. Thursday,
Your paces there to tell us?
Yeah, about 3:25 for the 5s and about 3 minute K pace for the 1s.
Just a 1 minute stride, just a 72-second 400.
Yeah, but you never know how accurate that GPS is for a minute. Because I did do some 400s later in the week and they definitely felt faster than this 1 minute on the road. Roman Nath was in town Thursday, boys. Nath Pearce, the big dog of Garmin Australia, sponsored On Athlete, trail runner. Number 1 trail runner in Australia, would you call him that?
Oh, what did he come on the weekend? What did he come on roller coaster?
He got beaten by Seth O'Donnell, actually. He spoke about that. A 60-minute run. I reckon he was talking about that for the first 45 minutes, Nath. And then my mate from Bendigo messaged me because he was in Bendigo the day before, the other Cramry. And he goes, was Nath Pearce talking much about that Seth O'Donnell stuff at the roller coaster run? I said, yes. I got the same story as you did 24 hours earlier, obviously. He does these regional tours where he goes to like all these regional towns for his Garmin work and just jumps in different locals to run around each town he's in.
So what's your takeaway there, Moose? That Seth O'Donnell, who doesn't run trails, goes and wins a trail race over a trail runner.
We know the takeaway has been what this podcast has said since the beginning. A really good road runner will win a moderately technical trail race over a very good trail runner.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Been in trouble for those opinions before too, haven't we?
Nah, not on that. But
That's why I asked Moose for his opinion.
If you go onto the technical stuff, there are trail runners out there like Blake Hose, who is an absolute freak on the technical stuff, who will destroy someone 10 minutes faster over the half marathon than him. If it's technical, and I'm not talking like a rutted out fire road, I'm talking like off the side of a mountain, like
boulder and stuff,
shaly single track with big steps in it. They disappear on you, those blokes.
Yeah.
Ladies.
He's good. He's always good to talk to, Nath. Archie was there too. Did I tell you Archie was there? There was 3 of us, which was good. Good way to spend a Thursday morning. Friday, Archie and I did some 400s. Went to the grass track. Archie's getting fit as well. He went to Europe for a couple of months and then he's come back, slowly putting the train together to get some fitness back. So this is going to be good for me the next couple of weeks. Did 10 by 4 off a minute. Track was a bit wet on the grass there, a bit slippery. It's like holes and stuff. I've complained about this track numerous times in the past. Averaged about 70 seconds though, which I didn't think was bad. Just good, like just workouts where you're like 10 of them, easy. 10.4s, not that fast, get it done, kind of maintain some kind of like leg speed, fitness without like being out there for a couple of hours or having to get up super early or like, things that like, you're not even thinking about that workout when your alarm goes off. You're just like, yep, cool, this will be a bit of fun. I did forget how much I missed the track. Like just that first 60 meters of the first rep and you're taking the bend and you're like, this is running on the track is fun. Like I encourage people, if you can get onto an athletics track to do some, they don't even have to be that fast, but just get used to the rhythm of an athletics track again. It just, I don't know when the last time I would have run on a track was, but it just like reminded me super early in that workout that I'm like, oh yeah, running track is enjoyable. So I quite enjoyed that workout. Good bang for your buck. Get to work after that. Saturday I listened to, I did an hour, 436s, and I listened to the Science in Sport podcast. You guys listen to this, Valencia Half Ngetich episode, talking about her world record. No. Very good. They're very good, those guys at talking about stuff.
What was the takeaway?
There kind of was no takeaway, and it was like they kind of
obsessed with shoes. Those blokes, aren't they? Obsessed with them.
Well, they're just like she could be a super responder, and that's the takeaway. That's where she's got the benefit from to be able to improve the times.
There's been shoes around now since 2017. They've been running these shoes. Yeah, they haven't gone that much better.
She changed from the Vapor to the Alpha, though. They said. So maybe she's getting 6% from the Alpha Fly, but she's only getting 3% from the Vapor Fly.
Did she change from half tights to split shorts? Did they look at that? Crop top?
They talked about all these different things. They spoke about the drugs kind of stuff. And yeah, I just love how smart they are. Or Ross Tucker in particular. The other guy's the journalist and he's I don't know what his actual title is, Croaks. What is he? Sports scientist? Don't know. Exercise physiologist? Something like that. But it was good. Good listen. Enjoyed that. And then a few people told me about the... Cara Goucher and Des Linder did one as well. And they kind of brought up the point that, like, why when Kipchoge does these phenomenal things, no one goes to drugs straight away? Like, why is it, like, celebrated? And, like, even kipped him? Like, there was, like, maybe in our circles there was a lot...
No, that bloke got roasted about drugs. Kipchoge's been around since juniors. And he's been winning world medals since he was a kid. It's very different.
I think Valencia Half Ngetich has got way more drug chat than Kiptum and Kipchoge combined.
She ran underneath 2:10. She broke the world record by like 2 minutes something. These others haven't been doing that. Yeah. This was a much, much bigger jump in world record. This was an outlier.
There's been a lot of talk about women being more like benefiting the super shoes now too. I always thought it was like the heavier you were, the more benefit you got.
It's all theory. It's theory. It's not actual fact at all. It's people that have opinions, but then there's no science to back it up. So they're just throwing stuff out there, and it's their opinion, which is fine. But like, there's a big factor out there that's the most difficult thing to talk about, and the thing that people like. It's really easy to talk about how shoes can benefit you, but as soon as someone brings up what sort of drug cycle someone perhaps is on, then you can't really get into detail without sort of risking all sorts of stuff, can you?
And the shoes also now sort of mask the drug stuff, because back in the day, if a female came out and ran 2:10 in old shoes, then you're like, well, that doesn't make sense. Whereas now that there's, oh, no, it must be the shoes. Or you can now look at the nutrition's changed. So it's sort of, there's so many different factors now that sort of takes the drug chat away a little bit more. But you only got to see the records of how many people have been busted in Kenya.
Yeah, they spoke about that as well. I think they said over 200 now in the last couple of years. They definitely didn't shy away from drug chat. Like, there was plenty of that in there. And even they were talking about that Ronix, what was his name? Ronix Kiplimo. Yeah, they were talking about how, like, he was on the documentation from Cass in his trial was how it was a sophisticated program. And they talked about Ruth the manager and stuff like that as well, and all the connections there. Like, yeah, it was a good chat. Like, I'm doing a shit job of summarising it, but just go listen to it for 60 minutes and I think you'll enjoy it. Then after that run Saturday, with the work boys, we had a men's health wellness retreat over at Lake Mawela in Yarrawonga. Couple of nights.
Wait, come again?
Couple of nights. I only had to go one night, the Saturday night, because I'm only part-time, but that was good. Got out on the water, went fishing. Did some male bonding with some of my workmates and stuff, and didn't get out for a run Sunday. It was a bit dusty on the Sunday.
You'll sit around and watch Blokes Advice?
Watch what? Blokes Advice?
What? Blokes Advice. You seen that show? It used to be on Channel 31.
Nah.
Remember Channel 31?
No.
Nah.
Oh, down here. It was like the community
31.
TV channel. Blokes Advice. It was...
What's the show called? Blokes World?
Oh, maybe it was Blokes World.
That rings a bell, but not Blokes Advice.
Oh, maybe Blokes World. Sorry, that could be me fucking that up.
Didn't catch any fish though, fellas. No fish. Some of these guys from work, like expert fishermen, they were giving me shit for not knowing much about fishing. Then we just pull in no fish for like 5 hours. We're out there on the lake. But it was good. Good to get to know a few fellas. Week of 75k. Should we thank some Patreon supporters, Croaks?
Yep, let's do it.
Organised. I'm going to tell our guests we're just a few minutes away.
All right. Well, I've got Matt Blunden this week from Lossiemouth in Scotland. Runs for Moray Roadrunners and the Royal Air Force. Has PBs of 8:35 from the 2010 or a 2010 British Milers meet. 14:41 at the 2010 British Milers Club Nike Grand Prix. 30:41 at the 2007 Telford 10K, 48:49 at the 2010 Great North Run, and 2:26:40 at the 2010 Florence Marathon. So some fairly solid PBs there. Thanks for your support, Matt.
Matt. Which one would you be happiest with of those, Croaks? And Brady, you tell me yours too.
Probably the 14:41.
Nah. 30:41's better than that.
Yeah, the 10 I was going to say.
10 for me too.
Could you think it more? I know what you're going to say, Croaks. Think about it as a female.
Double it and add a minute was often the...
It's pretty close.
So you double it and add a minute, and that's like 30:22. I know I'd be...
8:35, if you're looking at our women's...
Records.
8:35 maybe?
He's going all right anyway, isn't he, Matt?
Yeah,
well,
these are all
very old.
Yeah, they're all very old
they're
ones.
14 years old.
Oh, well, he went all right. Like, should be proud of those PBs.
He had a good year.
I think Matt's the same age as me. So I was back in my prime in 2010 as well, 2007. They were good years.
Well, thanks, Matt. Good to see you still involved in the sport, listening to us talk shit about it every week. Who you got, Moose?
Kath Laird. She lives in the Macedon Ranges, which is a pretty nice place to be living. She's run 22:13 at the Dixon Field Park Run, 49:34 at the 2022 Melbourne Marathon 10K, 96 minutes at the 2023 Carmen's Half Marathon, and this year she ran 3:24 at the Gold Coast Marathon. We think she might work for Vitasoy Australia. So, trying to think of the best one there. Someone pick it for me. 96?
Yeah. I reckon. Yep, I reckon 96.
96 for me. Yep. 96.
Okay. Well, boys, you're going to have to tell me Tim's best one. Tim Hewitt from Cranberg, Victoria. According to his Strava bio, he's ran at 19:49 at the Buick. How do you pronounce that suburb in Melbourne, Moose? Berwick? It's Berwick, isn't it? Berwick Park Run. 94 minutes at the 2015 Run Melbourne Half Marathon and 3:40 at the 2022 Noosa Marathon. Also said he's moving to the trails. Think he might be a general manager at Lang Lang Golf Club. Oh, yeah. Which is his best time, fellas? What do you reckon?
5K.
19:49. Didn't even think about it, Croaks. Lock that in straight away.
Yeah, that's probably better.
Thanks to our Patreon supporters. It's a good place to be at the moment, Patreon. We got the month, or not the monthly. We do have one of the monthly boys, Chris O from Norway, Jordan Donnelly. They sent through a list of their guests as well. If you're on Patreon and going to listen to this for the next 6 or 7 weeks, the boys are going hard with some very, very big names. on their hit list, which if you know anything about global distance running, these guys know a lot of people in high places. So I think if they can pull it off, we kind of put them in charge and just said, here's some money, go pay some guests to come on. They're going to be good. We're going to get some good stories and some people we haven't heard from before, I think. They're going to give us some good insights and stuff like that. Both ran PBs yesterday as well at Valencia Half Marathon. So Chriso loves the saying the proof will be in the pudding. The pudding is looking very, very nice at the moment. We've about 5 weeks to go until Valencia Marathon. So there's going to be some stories on the way. Moose is hosting that tomorrow. Croaks, you're doing it next week. And it's going to be fun. Tune in Wednesday morning for that one, Patreon supporters.
As you're tuning in, you're probably gearing up for a race. But how dialed in is your race nutrition? Precision Fuel and Hydration has you covered with a free online planner to calculate your carb, sodium and fluid needs for peak performance. Their range of fuel and electrolyte products makes it easy to hit your numbers. I swear by their resealable 90-gram gel on all my long runs and recently used it at the Ballarat Marathon. They also fuel top athletes like 4-time Olympian Lisa Waitman, Hayden Hawkes, and a regular guest on the Inside Running podcast, Izzy Bat Doyle. Visit the link in the show notes to personalise your race strategy. Use code INSIDERUN15 for 15% off your first order and support the show. Patrons, use the special code from the Patreon feed in Patreon-only episodes for a further discount of 20% off. Ready to elevate your performance? Click the link now. And now, let's get back to the show.
Croaks, Moose, you're reading me through the Burnie 10 results. Fire away.
Yeah, well, big results down there. In the ladies, we had a course record. So Leanne Pompeani, host from 2 weeks ago, has stepped up, taken a course record that stood for 25 years. Kylie Risk, perhaps it was 99. That's someone's math, but that's a huge record there. She's beaten Caitlin Adams, who was second in 33.16, and Kate Spencer was third, 33.28. So Leanne's 31.40, very fast course record. There's been a lot of good ladies gone down there and run that race over that last 25 years. So that's just a bit of a indicator of the type of level that Leanne's at to take that down.
Undefeated since you came back from Europe.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Bit of a chip on the shoulder there, not making the Olympics. Just going to dominate the road scene. Just take as many names as she can now locally.
Yeah, so what was next for Leanne? Zatopek?
Yeah, I think she said she was going to Noosa this weekend just as part of, because it's ASIC's event.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't know. Well, I'm sure she'll be competitive, but I'm not sure whether, if somebody like Rose Davies is going to be there, whether she'll probably have the wheels for that, especially off the back of the 10K. But then, Zatopek, I think, is the next one.
It's a tricky one, Noosa, because of the turns. You have to be quite good at that. It doesn't look much fun turn around. I know you've done well up there, Croaks. Please tell us who you beat.
No, I got beaten actually. Remember?
Pat Tiernan.
You beat Pat
Oh
Tiernan,
no, I did beat Pat that day. Yeah, I missed out on the cash.
Oh. What do you mean? You're over a chance?
Yeah, I missed out by one spot. Finished 6th.
Jordan Williams got him in the finishing shoot.
I'm 7th one year.
I love it. It was 2011. That's the only thing he worries about too, that he missed out on cash 13 years ago. Don't even worry about telling us you beat Pat Tiernan, but just worry about when you missed out on $25 for coming fifth.
Well, Pat was about 17, I reckon.
Yeah. 17. He would have looked like he's 20.
Back to Leanne, Croaks. You always like to make it about you.
You brought it up, Moose. You brought it up.
Back to Leanne. She, I still think she can do some good stuff up there, but Zatopek's going to be huge this year. I reckon it'll be such a fun watch. And in the men's race, Sam Clifford, he has had his biggest breakthrough result for sure. He ran 28.17, which is a 40-second PB, to win convincingly over Isaac Heyne, who is going gangbusters right now. He ran 28.41. And Brian Fay, is he Olympian, Brian Fay? I think he might be.
I think so, yeah. 1301, 5K man.
1301. So
is that the Irish record?
I think so, yeah.
Jeez.
Huge scalp there. Huge scalp. He's run 29.20 for third. So Sam we've seen him float around for a lot of years now. He was a great junior, a lot of promise. Came into the senior ranks, hit and miss with Sam. He had some good ones, he had some shockers, but we've seen a couple of results now that have been really impressive. And this one here, this should give him the kind of confidence injection to take him to the next level. And he'll be standing on that Zatopek start line, you would think, thinking that he might be able to take the crown.
I think we've got him on the line too now, Moose. Sam Clifford, we got you there. Congratulations on your win yesterday. Must be absolutely stoked with that.
Oh yeah, look, it's still a bit of a pinch me moment to win the Burnie 10, and yeah, I still can't believe it really what I was able to achieve yesterday morning. And thank you guys for having me on. Really appreciate it.
Looking forward to talking to you about it because I rewatched it again today. Splits of 14:15 on the way out, 13:59 on the way back. It seemed at one stage before the turnaround and before you went to the front and pretty much dropped everyone other than Isaac that you were like joking. You were laughing. You and Isaac having a few gags together. It looked fun for you out there.
Yeah, it was pretty funny early days because there was someone that yelled out the car at 2.5K in, and I've just yelled out. I've gone yelled out to them back like midway through the race, and they were absolutely loving it. It was funny. It was just a good time yesterday. I was having real fun with it, and that's what has changed in my racing. I just haven't been able to enjoy the moment sometimes, and little things like that just change up the vibe a little bit. So that's something I've been really been focused on with my running, just being able to enjoy it again, and particularly at that level. Opportunities to run really well are few and far in between at a senior level. So to enjoy it as much as I possibly can is great for my longevity in the sport as well.
So Sam, I'm just looking. So you're the Australian under-18 5K record holder with 14:07 back in 2019. You're the name on everybody's lips, and then you sort of went missing for 3 or 4 years. Can you just talk us through what happened? Was it you sort of got into seniors and you lost motivation, or you weren't winning anymore? So why did you fall out of sort of love with the sport?
So, it's not that I've had a real fallout in sport as such. I still love my sport, and I couldn't have been anyone else without it. It's more of a case that the transition from juniors to seniors is actually quite brutal, and particularly as you're getting touted as probably trying to be one of the greatest in Tasmania, and particularly as I've run the national record. It's sort of the trajectory and the expectation, I suppose, probably got to me a little bit, and I was a little bit immature to take that on board and actually create the perfect steps to get me to a really good spot at a senior level and earlier. I believe now performances like yesterday morning have really opened up the mindset that I can really achieve anything I put my mind to. It's just really hard in those couple of years. You turn for me, I was about 18, 19, and there's all these different aspects in my life that change. You're sort of becoming a young adult. There's you got exams at school, and then you're potentially going to university, and I was also with the Institute of Sport, and there was a little bit too much picking and prodding a bit, very sort of higher expectations of me. They wanted to do that in such a short period of time. And I just felt like that was a bit too much for me mentally. And there's obviously some other things as well that come with that. As just being a young lad, you sort of just get, try to experience life, and that was probably to my detriment, really, for those couple of years. And I finally had the mental courage to step away from that environment and then really attack my running, and it's clearly shown in results like yesterday morning.
And any advice for juniors coming through, knowing that you've been through that?
I think if for me personally, it's all a little bit different. I always tell myself I don't want kids to go through exactly what I went through. Really, I think the most key important thing is to really have a very strong supportive network of people, friends and family that you can trust and have tough conversations with. I was very grateful through those 2 or 3 years, and particularly because I used to go out a lot, drink and party and so forth during those years. I was almost had friends, instead of people telling me, Sam, don't go out, or Sam, don't go on the drink, it was more like Sam, you'd be really such a good runner if you didn't go out and drink, or if you didn't go out and party, or, there was just the way they worded the conversation. It made you almost think, really actually take a note and think about what your decisions are. And I'm very grateful for my friends and family that have challenged me on that. And it's obviously allowed me to transition properly back into some really high performance, mindset.
It's so exciting to know that that's the reason why things maybe weren't why we weren't seeing you so much, given that we juniors show your potential. This is showing that you're just a human like everybody else. And now you've found your groove. How exciting is that we're only seeing the very start of it by the sounds of it?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of almost, it sort of got going, and then through COVID, it was pretty hard as well. I found that racing as often and doing it all in Tasmania was pretty difficult as well, because I was expected to do, great things, and just never really eventuated. But I think it's almost a bit of peak and trough where, I've had almost 7 or 8 years to build up to a point where I was really good at the junior level, and then, got to a point of, national record, multiple national championships at the junior level. And then it sort of dropped off again. But I knew that it was sort of almost another cycle of, okay, I'm just back at the bottom of the pecking, the little fish in a big pond, and just building up slowly and building on my own standards. Didn't really look at anyone else, or, just really focused on my own, process and own training to be able to, just develop really good habits over time. And it hadn't just happened overnight either. This has obviously been, 3 or 4 years of work to get to a spot where I'm very competitive, but also, mentally switched on.
What's training looking like, Sam? I know you're with ASICS now, and you got the Team Tempo logo on the singlet, but are you still coached by someone in Tassie, or what's happening?
Yep, so I've still managed through the Team Tempo squad, and I still have my coach from juniors, so that's Gary Armstrong, and he's been very good mentor and support for me over the years. Over the last couple of years, we've been able to experience and experiment with different things. Just trying anything and everything we can to get me back to a level where I'm really, really competitive again. So, testament to Gary too. He hasn't, put too much pressure on me in terms of, running high mileage or doing anything really silly. He's, very straight and narrow in terms of, just keeping your ego out of your running.
Was he there yesterday? He must have been so proud seeing that result.
Oh, he was absolutely wrapped. I think the majority of people there were absolutely wrapped. And I was really shocked as well. It was some winner by that much though too.
You got to enjoy it. You were waving to people really 700, 800 metres out, because they're still, the walkers would come in the opposite way. You're waving to the army guys on the side. It's pretty rare. You're the second person Tasmanian to win that Tasmanian race in 40 years. The other one being Stewie. So it's not easy to do. And to be able to win it like that and have, 4 or 5 minutes to be in the moment without any pressure of someone, especially Isaac, knowing he was so far down the road, it must be probably a once in a lifetime opportunity maybe to be able to experience a local win like that by that kind of distance.
Yeah, you're spot on. And I knew going in, and looked back at the live stream too on some of the comments, and I knew that Isaac's kick is absolutely ferocious if you give him enough of a gap where he thinks he's still in the race. And I sort of knew I either had to wait, either to stay with him the whole way up until a smaller distance where I thought I was, closer to the finish, or further out. There's sort of this middle spot where it was if I got out in front and let him, if I get a gap of say 10 metres, he might have tried to reel that in, and you just take that out. Immediately as early as you possibly can, and saw signs early, and just took it as my sign to go, and I took it about 4K to go, something like that. So yeah.
But you're where do you get the confidence to take someone like Isaac like that and just think, hey, I'm going to drop this bloke, because he has won, what was it, Gold Coast half,
Second at Gold Coast Half.
Oh,
wasn't he?
second.
Yeah.
Sorry. Then he won the City to Bay. He won. Was it Lonnie 10 maybe? Won another big 10K race.
Yeah, he kicked home over the Glenn Huntley guy, Victorian guy.
Ed Marks.
Ed Marks, yeah.
Yeah, and so like, what was your last race before you went into this one?
National Cross, but what happened in the lead up to National Cross and in the lead up to Sydney Harbour 10, I just got completely run down. It was mainly after Gold Coast. I think I picked up a lot of bugs on the airplane travelling into Tasmania and then coming back out of Tassie. I just unfortunately get really, really sick, and I was probably in a position where I could have run really well at the National Cross Country Championships too, up until I got crook, a day out and had to do a COVID test. And I still ran it because I was like, oh, well, I'm here now. I've got to go and, finish what I started pretty much. I'm not, I'm not really a guy that if I either go in the race or I don't. And so you never know. Like there's going to be days now where the race mightn't be the perfect conditions. I might not be in the perfect shape. But if I'm, still, just if I show up, you never know. It's sport. It just sometimes it's a day, other days it's not your day, but you just got to roll on and move with the punches and roll with the punches when it doesn't go well, and when it does go well, it's like I did yesterday. For a lot of the listeners that watched the live stream, I really, really enjoyed it. So, yeah.
Where are we going next, Sam? Because I was watching that stream going, he looks a bit like Kipchoge about him here. Like robotic, it looks easy. When Kipchoge just moves away from everyone, but then everyone else looks cooked, but you just look like your technique was very smooth for the roads. And I wouldn't mind seeing you step up to a marathon, maybe a few years down the track, but I could see a future there for you.
Yeah, no, it was very interesting you say that. I was sort of even similar to, equivalency probably fit, like even Matthew Centuritz with the 1500. He's sort of one of those guys that you don't even notice him make a kick, but when he does, you sort of almost don't react to it. Similar thing. It was very, very subtle in the way I moved away. But, it's just, like I said, I've sort of had a pretty good technique all the way through. It's just, it's just about unlocking it and, mentally it's more time on the pins is usually a lot better, so you've got more time to really consider and think about your form. And like you said before, it's almost like very Kipchoge-esque. And I had a mate of mine that actually said, when I come back from my training camp in Sydney, which you probably guys might talk about later, but when I come back from that training camp, my mate just basically said, oh, mate, you look Kenyan. Like, you look like skinny as anything. And I'm there chatting away to him at like 3:05 pace on these tempo reps while he's on the bike. And he's like, mate, you're in some good nick. Like, it's pretty crazy. Like, I just, with the half tights on and everything, he was like, yeah, no, you look like East African or something.
Oh, that's good. I'm not the only one that picked it.
By the sounds.
I do love that you've given yourself the Centro comparison as well. Like, the Kipchoge wasn't enough for me, but it's for two pretty good people to be comparing yourself to. Yep. Tell us more about this Sydney trip, though. I think in one of the interviews you did afterwards, you mentioned, you'd done a block in Sydney, but I didn't know any more about it other than that.
Yeah, so I went to Sydney pretty much after National Cross. I had been sort of thinking about it probably for a little while to train with guys like Ed Goddard, Josh Phillips, Kieran Tall. Those were sort of the guys that were in the same or similar ability level that I was sort of looking for to really extend myself in training. And Ed's, as a training partner, he's so strong. Like, it's unreal how much strength that guy has. And, for him to run 62:04 on the same day in Valencia, it's a testament to, the formula that works and how much strength he has. And I think for Ed too, I think he'd be very, very pleased with that run. It's a very good confidence booster for him. So I think it worked out both ways in terms of, we got the most out of our training. The first couple of weeks for me, when I was training out there on a Gore Hill on a Tuesday, the first couple of sessions I was a little bit cowardice. I was very much like, Ed, I don't know if I can do this. Like, and he's all like, no, you'll be right. Like, just jump in this rep. And then all of a sudden I get through the rep and I'm like, it's not even that bad. And then after a couple of weeks, I'm saying to Ed, right, I'm ready to lead everything. I'm going to take everything. And I'm like, and he's like, no, just sit in. And, sort of almost like the little I guess support person that I needed to really extend myself in training, because he absolutely loves to rinse himself.
So were you doing his sessions, or like what input did your coach have into this training camp?
Yep. So my coach was just basically pretty much just like, look, let's give it a try. Just whatever. I was very trusting in that. Ed's program and his like paces and stuff were very similar to what I needed to be doing for the 10K. And so, and he was only, I think he was in pretty decent form then too. So obviously ran pretty well at Sydney Harbour 10 and, probably didn't have the best run at National Cross, but I knew then I was like, well, he's the guy that's probably the closest yardstick to me. I just think he's just such a valuable training partner. Yeah, like it's unreal.
So what's life look like for you, Sam? You work full time somewhere? You study or you're running? What part of Tassie are you?
Yeah, so I'm born and raised in Launceston. So I've been here for pretty much all my life. Currently working at the Tamar Valley Grocer, which used to be formerly known as, if anyone that's listeners from Launceston would know, it used to be the IGA Bram Street, West Launceston. So that got changed over in the last year. And yeah, I've been worked there casually, but I'm sort of there probably 25 to 30 hours a week at this stage. However, I understand that with the Sydney trip being a great success for me, and then actually being able to put that into a great result down the line in a race, as high caliber as Burnie was, it's a very attractive option to go back, potentially for, and the only way I can probably afford to go over there is through going to university. And I've already organised, myself applications to go to University of New South Wales, and I've still obviously got to wait until those offers come out, which I think's around the middle of November. So I'll be able to find out, who's willing to take me for their degree and the institute, and we'll go from there.
What do you want to study?
So the plan was to go through the Bachelor of Exercise Science degree and then do a Masters of Physio. Both areas are very highly in demand, and pay really well. And they're just the longevity of those degrees and those of that employment is you do it for years and years and years. You don't ever really lose it. So,
what else happens in the life of Sam Clifford, Sam? What are we watching on Netflix? What do you like to do in your spare time? Passions outside of running?
Yeah, very good question. Look, I don't really have Netflix or any of those like streaming services at all. Like, I'm really more of a YouTube kind of guy, to be honest. I just watch a bit of long form content, the old YouTube shorts. It's probably my generational thing too, being Gen Z. We're all a bit, I guess, very short attention span. So, but obviously doing that in the right way, in the correct way, building knowledge and expanding ideas, and gives you ideas to always think about different things, different perspectives. Obviously, it takes certain things with a grain of salt, and other things you can listen to. It's entirely individual.
I have no idea what that answer just meant, boys. Maybe I'm too old.
Hey, Moose, at the top of the show, we were talking about the Endorphin Pro, and you said that there was a connection between the Endorphin Pro and Sam. Do you want to fill us in?
Oh, well, yeah. So, what year was that? I can't remember what year. Maybe 2018 or something like that. The Saucony came out and they got their first super shoe, and they came to me, actually, the sales manager, and he goes, put together a list of people that you think in Australian running would do well with a shoe, like non-sponsored people. And Sam, I reckon you were probably the most appreciative person that got a shoe out of that launch. I remember thinking that, like, this bloke actually, like, very, like, appreciative of someone sending him a shoe. So that's what I remember from that. You were part of that drop, and I think you must have been like the phenom kid at the time.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was absolutely rapt to get a free pair of shoes, and at that time too, like that was sort of when like the carbon fiber plate stuff was, and especially with the other shoe brands, was starting to you start to get really good competition. And so I always knew. I mean, I know I like to talk about ASICs all the time, but part of my contract, but with the Endorphin Pros, those were shoes that I was wearing like all the time. Like I absolutely loved them. They were just like, I think I've still got them hanging around somewhere, but they're
still
I'll tell you what, they've had about, I'm going to take a stab, I'm going to say probably close to 1,000K in them, and it was pretty good considering they're a racing shoe. Like I just started using them for training all the time, and they still held up, which was incredible. But yeah, I was so appreciative of getting a pair of shoes, because I never really got much from the running. I was always buying my own shoes, and there was one point there where I was just buying like real cheap shoes from like an Athlete's Foot or like a Rebel store or something for like $100 and just rotating through. So I was very, very appreciative of the support you're able to provide.
Saucony, mate.
Good on you, Moose.
Yeah.
No, Saucony did that. I just put the names together.
Hey.
Yeah, but good of you to think of Sam back in the day.
I think I'll throw out Troy Argent, who used to work for Saucony. Yeah. He didn't work for him anymore. He come up and said, make sure Sam gets a pair. Really like him.
See, so you were a good guy, eh? Well before you picked up that guy across the finish line.
That's heroic from you, Moose. I tell you now, that was phenomenal.
They played it today at the school assembly, Moose. The boss come and saw me the other day and said, you know this Moose guy? And I'm like, you kidding me? They wanted to play at this men's health wellbeing retreat as well. And I'm like, nah, we're not putting that on. Just concentrate on catching fish.
Mate,
so Sam, what races coming up? You doing Noosa Bolt?
Yeah, I got a late call up to Noosa Bolt. I wasn't originally going to do it. I was a bit like, nah, I'm going to focus on Burnie, but got a bit of a late call up. So I'm very happy to jump in, and I'm already in the green now with Burnie being pretty good, decent prize money. So it's kind of a free hit for me now. But like I said, I'd really like to see where I'm at for a 5. I mean, it's a little bit hard with I haven't run at Noosa before, and I know for a fact that there's like heaps of turns, but I have definitely been practicing to do that. I did a session last week that was basically in a car park, and I just like turn around every 600. So, I've got some sort of race specific work for Noosa, but I mean, that's probably about it. That's all I know.
And then Zatopek?
Yeah, then Zatopek. And I'll tell you, this is a pretty hot take, and I don't know if you guys are probably thinking about this too, but I honestly had told a couple of people as well that Zatopek this year, I wouldn't be surprised if there ends up being 6 guys that run under 28. There's potential too, and it's Australian distance running is just, especially in the 10K now, you've got guys like Haftu, Ed, Isaac, Seth O'Donnell, and if we all get a good day, and Josh Phillips can be thrown in there too, Ed Goddard, whoever you like to throw in there, on their day, if we're all on our day, it could be something special. That's my hot take, and I want to be in that conversation too, really.
Good hot take. And they're not big names either. Like, it could be a chance for someone to really win a Zatopek or have another kind of a breakthrough on top of a breakthrough.
I think so, yeah. Like I said, it should elevate all of us to run at a very high level. I'm just so grateful too that if it does end up being that way where there's heaps of guys, if I end up being like the 5th or 6th fastest out of all them guys and we all run under 28 minutes or something, you'd argue it's probably one of the great eras of Australian distance running, and just the way everyone's just improving all the time. It's testament to different training methods. Everyone goes through the same different training, and it's probably super shoes as well. You could argue that, but yeah, very, very grateful for it's so competitive.
Sam,
it's a long time.
Last one from me. Who do you look up to in the sport in Australia? Like, who's one of your role models? Because I'm blown away at the moment by pretty much anyone around your age bracket we have on. Just seem to be very well spoken. And I'm starting to think, is it because of I don't know, have we got a 32-year-old role model out there that everyone's learnt off? I feel like it's come a long way in the last 5 or 6 years. I'd nearly say our 18 to 20, how old are you? 23, 24, 22?
22.
Yeah, I'd nearly say our 18 to 22-year-olds are more mature than our 28 to 32-year-olds. Like, where's it coming from? What have I missed?
Look,
COVID, too much time inside.
Look, I mean, it's subjective. Like, I think it depends on the person who, decides who influences them at the end of the day. The one guy I've probably looked up to and within recent years, obviously you look at Stu and how much he's elevated Tasmanian running and as well as Australian running as well. Like, it's, crazy to think that he obviously won the Burnie 10 and then went on to, represent Australia and break, Australian records and all that sort of stuff. And, and another guy I really look up to, and he's obviously a bit biased, he's my cousin as well, James Hansen. I think he's another guy, won Lonnie 10 a couple of years ago. And I'll tell you, like, I had a conversation with him the other day. I said, you inspire me to, be the best athlete I can be on and off the track. Because that guy's, for me, is probably a greater example of, toughness and how hard it is to get to this level. Like, he's really, for me, I think he's shown, such, gratitude all the way through. And, like you said, he's probably in that age bracket of, 31, 32 that is a really good role model. Does so much for the community and, I'm wanting to give back, the best I can. And I definitely wanted to at Burnie as well. Like, I was really, afterwards, I was making sure I was really keeping the crowd excited, because they taking time out of their day, out of their Sunday to come. Some of them are just coming there to watch because it's a community spirit event. And, I just think that he's the kind of guy that, I guess, very much is very true to that.
Yeah, well put. Two great role models there. Listeners, can you do me a favour? Sam's Instagram account got hacked. I was trying to talk to the hacked version today and he wasn't writing back because I didn't actually know he was hacked. He's had to start a new account. He's only got 312 followers. He's one of the biggest names in Australian sport after yesterday. If you want to get on Instagram and give him a follow, it's Sam Clifford, sam._.cliffo. There's a picture of a dog. Let's see if we can get him up to like 10,000 by the time this episode goes out there. Make sure the guy's hacked on your other one, because that other one's got like 1,500 or something. Now you're back to the start. We need to build this back up again, especially if you're winning big races like the Burnie 10.
Yeah, very true. I mean, Instagram's the only downfall with me social media side of things, but me Strava and Facebook have been pretty good. So I haven't really been all that stressed. But yeah, I mean, Instagram's always you got to have a bit of everything, really.
You do, yeah. I've just picked the worst one to message him on today, obviously, then, boys. Should have went with Facebook, would have been easier. Sam, thanks for your time. Any more questions for him, boys? So well spoken. And I thought that was going to be a 5-10 minute chat, and you've just done amazing for the last 20-25 minutes.
I've just got one question. The one thing that stood out for me yesterday watching the live stream was, compared to most distance runners, you look like you got a fair set of guns on you. Now, Moose is heading off to Fiji. So any tips? Do you do cross training? Like, are you a swimmer, or is that just from lifting boxes of bananas at the greengrocer?
It's probably a bit of a combination, isn't it, Craig? I think realistically, for me, I've always been I wouldn't say like solid. Like, I wasn't like massive or anything, but I was just very well like toned, I guess, if that makes any sense. I did sort of always sort of chassis more solid, but I mean, I gym 3 times a week. I've been doing a lot more swimming as of late. I did used to swim like as a kid and used to represent my school and stuff in swimming, but not like a bit too high a level than that. Been doing that 3 times a week. I've been getting that close to, some of my swims are probably not as, I mean, this for me, I'm not technically, the greatest at swimming, but it's like, anything to get a little bit of extra fitness and, extra stimulus that I don't get through running. It all helps. I've even tried to do a bit of yoga and stuff as well. And I just think, it's all been very beneficial for my running. So.
Good. Yeah. There you go, Moose. Couple of hints for you there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sam, good luck with the prep lead into Zatopek. Thanks again for your time tonight.
Cool. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, Sam.
No worries, mate. See you later.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, fellas. Let's roll on to running news. We'll whip through the back end of this episode, eh? Been going for a while. Croaks, where are we going first? Let me just get our Frankfurt Marathon. Or let's go Valencia Half. That was a bigger story because we had a very impressive Australian in Valencia. So, no, he was in Hamburg. He was in Frankfurt. Now I've got it. Valencia Half. We had a world record there. Yomi Kejelcha, he broke the world record by 1 second. He ran 57.30. Daniel Matiko, he was second in 58.17, so he won by a bit. Isaiah Kipkoech was third in 58.21. We had one Australian in action that we know of. Ed Goddard was 33rd in 62.07. Chriso from Norway, 68.09 a PB. Jord O'Donnelly as well, PB in 69.32. And then in the women's, I'm pretty sure a 10K split of like 29.15, somewhere around there, by Agnes Ngetich. She won it in the second fastest all-time in 63.04. Tesfaye was second in 63.21, and Leanne Pompeani was third in 63.32. Got a world record, boys, but the women still pretty amazing on that side as well. Like 3 women under 63.35 is incredible, and a world record by 1 second. No surprises there from Kejelcha, is there? Like, he's got gears. His should be running 57.30.
He looked so good on the stream over the last few K, and in particular when he knew he was close to the record. Like his last, I'd say 800, 600, just looked like he was on the track. Looked like his feet were hardly even touching the ground. You know, he gets sort of that real sort of up on his toe. But the issue I've always had with Kejelcha is, and we chatted about this on the Daily Show during the Olympics, like he's the greatest runner to have never won an Olympic medal. Like he wins and does incredible things when it's like doesn't really count. Like I know it's a world record, so it does count, but like, you know what I mean, major championships, he's just got such a poor record.
Yeah, well, these are his PBs. 3:47 is the indoor mile world record holder. He's ran 12:38 for 5K in Oslo this year, 26:31 for 10K this year, and then he's run this 57:30. So his times look amazing for the year, but didn't win a global medal.
Does he break 2 hours for the marathon? I know one of our listeners wrote in saying surely he's a chance and he wanted to put a slab on it.
That was Stephen, yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that slab for sure. I'll take that slab because you basically like picking a marathoner from a fast half marathon is near on impossible. It's throwing darts at a board.
Tedeschi, remember Tedeschi? Was it Tedeschi? Yeah, it was. Yeah, sub 2 project and was
Cam
terrible.
Warwar.
Yep.
Cam Warwar was like 4 or 5 time world half champion and has never been able to come out and do what we thought he would. There's been other examples, countless examples of transitioning poorly. So I'm going to say I'll have that slab. I don't know what year we call it at.
Stephen Patterson, that's the person you're entering this agreement with, Moose.
Yeah, Pato. Well, I'll call. When do we cut this off? 2030. Oh. Give him 6 years.
2030. That's a long time.
Well, I mean, you can't just cut him off in 2 years, can you?
We don't even know if he's going to step up to the marathon. So that works in your favour. He might have no interest to run a marathon. Well, but aren't they throwing up 1 million euros this year at Valencia? Like if those kind of money gets thrown around, imagine what his bonus is with Adidas as well. Like, it could be a decent payday for Umeth if he does step up.
I reckon he would have got a bit of cash from this one, breaking a world record, winning Valencia half.
Yep.
Very good stuff.
The boys will be all over this as well, Moose, tomorrow night. Like they're going to have they would have been in the elite room with these guys at press conferences, probably giving him a massage 20 minutes before the race. Like they'll know what had happened with Umeth and Agnes in there. They would have been in. They probably started next to him on the start line, those two boys. So, Another
reason to get to Valencia for any type of distance you want to run.
Oh, yeah. Because the 10K is fast there as well. So,
yeah.
Hey, I told the boys off air last week as well on Road to Valencia. We got talking about Andy Buchanan at the end of it. And then I did leave this on that post. There was an Instagram post. I said to the boys, and I wish I said it on air, so I'll say it on air now. This could be a whisper, a prediction. He could break the Australian record at Valencia. He's got this, when I was running with him over the hills a couple of weeks ago, I'm like, he's just got this new level of confidence. I saw it at Melbourne Half Marathon. It's not a ridiculous statement. And I know I come up with some ridiculous statements somewhere, but like this could have some merit.
All right. What are we doing for a slab here? Come on.
Well, it's just break or not broken. You owe me 2 slabs as well. Do we want to go double again? You want to go to 4 or 0?
I'll go to 4 or 0.
You want to get out of debt?
But you'll still owe me 4 if he
No,
does.
It doesn't work like that.
That's how double or nothing works, mate.
No, it's double me or you win nothing.
What's he have to take off? So his PB is what, 208.58.
Yeah, at Hamburg though. This is what I was saying to the boys. I'm like, it's Hamburg. Who runs their PBs at Hamburg?
So what's he need? Like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
That's not much. You're a shoe-in. Take that 4.
The only thing that concerns me is I think he's been injured. Did he get injured for his... Oh, he was going to run a December marathon in the past. Was it Fukuoka? That was the only thing I'm like, he does have not a massive history of missing marathons with injuries, but he's had a couple of like smaller things over the last couple of years. So he's not 100%,
If he gets injured, bet's off.
Okay. So if he breaks the Australian record, I get 4 slabs. If he doesn't,
I get 4 slabs.
No.
That's how it works, mate.
You've cleaned the slate, Moose.
That's
No.
That's
You
fair.
blokes don't. Yeah. Anyway,
You're getting out of 2 slabs of debt. That's like $90, $100 of value there.
No, I'm not taking that deal.
Okay. We'll
All right.
think about it.
Let's talk about a guy who may break the Australian record at some point, Timmy Vincent. He finished 9th overall at the Frankfurt Marathon, running 209.40. So look at these splits. 65.33 through half, came home in 64.07 for the second. Now, that's a way to run a marathon. That's pretty damn impressive. That puts him to 9th all-time Australian, and we now have 10 Aussies who have broken 2 hours 10. So pretty incredible. The race was won by Bernard Biwott in 205.54, and the women's was won in 217.25 by Hawi Faisa Gejia.
Do you know what you said, Croaks, about him not that's how you want to run it? That's how you want to run it. You're exactly right.
It's like looking at his splits, I felt like he basically, I do have him here actually. So Dave Tarbottom sent through an email with them all, but it was like he almost treated the first 5 to 10K like as a bit of a settler, just feel it out, and then started to sort of go to work after that. Just give me a second. Maybe Brady, talk about that other stat there about Tarby also sent that one through. It's the most sub 210s we've had in one calendar year ever.
Yeah, well, I'm also just looking up his PB for a half. Like, he's ran that second half in 64.07. So let's just round that down to 64 flat. His PB on a legit course is 62 flat. He's ran 2 minutes off. Not many people are closing. Like, you don't see Brett Robinson running 62 for the last... he's a 60 flat guy pretty much.
So these are his 5K splits. So he's gone 15.36, 15.27, 15.29, 15.38, 15.22, 15.06, 15.13, 15.17, and then closed the last 2.195K in 6.32, which is 2.59 kilometre pace. So his last 2K was his fastest split kilometre pace. So good. Probably shows there's potentially even a bit more there.
The only way you can run 64.07 is by feeling exactly how we described in a couple of weeks ago at the halfway point, where you are just sitting on the couch ready to pop off.
Yeah.
And that's and it just comes back to that whole positive feedback cycle of being in that mindset of just attacking. Attack is the mindset, and he's done that. And I watched him finish, and he was looking fresh.
Yeah.
Like, that guy finished with some in the tank. Impressive run. I didn't think he'd be able to do that. If someone offered me slabs before that, then I'm giving up 5, saying he wouldn't break 210. So
he took Troopy's spot.
Yep. Troopy's now number 10.
Yeah. Here's a question without notice for you. Liam Bouden also steps up to the marathon, runs 2:13 off a pretty far, like, he blew up a bit. So, like, and he's ran 62 recently as well. He ran 62:32 at Melbourne half, not the fastest course in the world. Is Jackson Elliott one of the most underrated coaches in Australian distance running?
He's got some runs on the board now for sure.
Hasn't he?
He is a sub 2:10 man on the board. He's got wins all over the shop. What was Tim Vincent's downhill or downwind or whatever it was?
Yeah, was that 61 something in it Rome?
Yeah, it was Rome.
Something.
Same day as Galen Rupp, 61:43. So he's only 18 seconds off that now with his legit course.
All started with Road to Gold Coast. That was his debut. Remember that one? Didn't have a great day.
Didn't he run 2:17?
Yeah.
He's working too. I'm not sure. Like, back, is he still in the same position? We need to get him on, boys.
Yeah,
we need to have a revisit here.
I did try. He's at the airport though. I was in contact with him, the Savo. Might be able to get him next week or in between. Maybe a little weekend interview. Yeah, we'll figure something out. But he's a good fella too, Timmy Vincent. Good to see a good person like that run a good time. Yeah, it's just
floodgates though. Also threshold. Like, we hit that threshold, floodgates open. Like, how many others are we going to get under now?
Well, I think Liam's definitely one to watch, because if you look at, like, Liam, 2:13 on debut, so that's 4 minutes quicker than what Tim ran on debut, and he's on the up. I reckon, and then I don't know how long until have to those guys sort of move up as well. But
Sam Clifford.
I reckon Sam's actually still got a bit over 10K. Yeah. Yeah. You just want everyone to move up to the marathon, Brady.
Yeah, who did I interview the other day? I was trying to talk into it as well. It was someone who was running good on the road.
Seth O'Donnell.
Yeah, put him up there. We're in this. We're going to have some good people to talk about the next couple of years, boys.
Yeah. Sport's in a good spot.
That was good. The only other bit of news I had as well, Jess Stenson has announced that she's not going to run Valencia Marathon. Race update. Unfortunately, I won't be lining up to race the Valencia Marathon on December 1st due to an injury that would impact my ability to prepare as hoped. It's been a fulfilling year and I've absolutely loved every race experience. I've asked a lot of my body and feel grateful for the opportunities it has given me. It's time to recharge the batteries. No more intel, but it must be something significant if you're pulling the pin 5 weeks out, something that's taken her out for 3 or 4, 5 weeks, which means you can't get the start line.
Exactly. You got to know that you're not just resting for a tendon injury or for a joint issue, which could come good soon. It's no cortisone. Like, you can't just pop it with a jab and get going. You can't put some anti-inflams in the mouth and get going. So for me, this reads like bone stress, whether it's a reaction or an actual fracture. That's what I'd be expecting. And there are quite a few, when you're pushing the envelope like all these girls are, this is bound to happen, and it won't just happen to Jess. There'll be others that are pushing the envelope like this. It's just part of what happens as an elite distance runner, someone who's trying to do special things. I mean, if you could just throw everything at the wall and just pay off, then we'd all do it. But these are the consequences of that, and everyone knows that. And I mean, I'm sure, I'm not having a crack at Jess whatsoever. I'm just saying this is the realities of being in the absolute upper echelon of elite sport.
Actually, I was having the same discussion with Dick Telford yesterday, because I asked him how the group's going. He goes, yeah, pretty good, but there's a few guys that obviously aren't running. So Jai, for example, but he said, it's part and parcel of the sport. Like, when the guys train as hard as they do, you're always going to have people that are injured at some point in time generally. So it is the sport. You just need to try and, I guess, minimise the amount of time that you're injured, because you can't run well if you're constantly injured. It's all about that consistency.
I reckon if you take Jess back a year though and tell her when her baby's 1 month old that she's going to run a PB and then she's going to qualify for the Olympics, she's going to come 13th at the Olympics. Let's not even bring up Valencia. That's still a pretty impressive year.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And even that half marathon PB she's run, that was so impressive. Yeah. I'm guessing
comes into the stadium in between Leanne and Izzy, who are both, at the top of their game.
Yeah.
It's a good 12 months. Listen to the question, Croaks.
All right. You're all coaches, but don't have a coach. Why not? For what you all still want to achieve, for the benefits you would tell an athlete why coaching is a good thing? Is there a reason you guys don't have one? As well connected as you all are in the sport of running, for access to coaching setups to get something different, do you all need to do something different? And that question comes in from Craig Beattie.
Good question, Craig.
I agree with Craig. You two blokes should definitely have coaches.
I'm uncoachable, Moose.
No, Brady, you should have a coach 115%. You have the time to dedicate.
I've asked who I should get before. I'm like, who should I get? What about Jordan Donnelly? He's been impressing me.
Seems flavour of the month, doesn't he? Yeah. Old Jordo.
And you know I'm all about flavour of the month, Croaks. Give me the flavour of the month. Put it in my veins, Croaks.
Didn't Moose say in our group chat, Brady just goes for the most famous person at the time or most popular person?
Yeah. That's probably why I don't have a coach. The popularity changes too often.
Yeah, Dan Nash has been kicked to the curb.
Still want to give Dan a go. I'm thinking next year I'll get a coach when Hudson's at school. Like when he's just locked in to go to the same location for 35, 40 hours a week. I just feel like
you can find the time to do any prescribed session that you're given.
My work's all over the place. I just don't think I'd be able to respect. Like I was doing Tuesday long runs for a while there, remember? People were freaking out on Strava.
Yeah, that's okay. You tell the coach, hey, I got Tuesday where I got to do a long run. You know, that's what coaches do.
True.
You're not just getting a fucking 8-week program set and forget. You're talking to you're working the plan out, and you have the potential still. Croaks, he's old as fuck. Yeah. He's done. I'm done. You have the potential.
I'm done. You guys don't say that about yourselves. You still have some good years ahead of you. Yeah, who's your short list then? Give me some names.
Who's your short list, Brady? Who would be your top 3 that you would reach out to?
Jordan Donnelly.
Yep.
No, in seriousness, like I want someone who knows me pretty well. So someone who's like actually listens to the show and they're like, all right, okay, I've heard this guy make some mistakes over the past. Moose has done a good program for him before. I feel like I could have run a PB off Moose. Well, I did run a few PBs off Moose's programming, but then COVID hit. I reckon, I would have run like 2:16 at that Rotterdam Marathon if that what was it? What are we calling those things?
COVID.
Pandemic, that's what I'm looking for. But then I don't want to confuse like podcast and stuff with coaching stuff with Moose. It's not that I don't. Yeah, you do a good job with me too, Croaks, because you know me pretty well. But there's not a lot of options. Dick Telford, send Dick Telford an email. I don't think, like, I'm not at that level where like good people would care.
Jackson Elliott?
Jacko Elliott.
There you go.
Oh,
there you go.
Jordo's just been kicked to the curb now.
Dan Nash does. Literally like flavour the 24 hours.
Oh yeah, you still got that runner app? You still got that?
Coach Jen. Consider Coach Jen on the runner app again.
How are you able to do Tuesday long runs on the runner app? Surely they don't have that.
Yeah.
Did you end up paying for the rest of the program?
Nah, you can't. You know, it's like 30-day app free until they start charging you. So you just got to, just cancel the subscription. So,
Moose, what about you? Time for a coach?
Nah, mate. I have no chance for that because I don't care enough. That's one of the problems. Is that I wake up and I just really like to jog. Like I like to get out there and run on the trails with the dog. And sometimes I do 8K, sometimes I go 14. I get injured way too often. My back flares up, fucks up the whole program. I've got this knee thing that sometimes I have to take multiple weeks off. It would be so frustrating for the coach, and I would get so annoyed, feel like I'm letting him down. My body lets me down, which I'm then letting the coach down. And I don't, like, you know how many start lines I've missed? That's frustrating for me. So as soon as I start getting a coach and I'm starting to try to force things because they're written in front of me, that's when I think I would run into strife. Yeah. I don't think I am coachable at the moment. I'm also working a ton. Like, I don't have the energy to be caring about my running right now. Maybe eventually. Maybe I'd say if I can get this store, like, where I don't have to be there early, staying late, working Sundays, that kind of thing, then perhaps I would consider one. Who would be? That's a good question.
Yeah. Who would be your top? Who would throw some names out there?
Jordan Donnelly, Jacko Elliott.
Well, firstly, I'd go to Run Strong, and I'd hit the inquiry submission form, and I'll just see where that leads me.
Get Zach to coach you. Seem to be spending a bit of time with Zach these days. He knows you well.
Oh yeah, what's Zach? Who's Zach's best athlete?
Don't know. Is that it? Do you need that though?
No, you don't. I'm just wondering. Has he had any success? I want to hear some
Not
success.
yet. Heaps of success in PBs. Not sure how. Yeah, I don't know who the fastest athlete he would be.
Why don't you get Zach to coach you?
I kind of do bounce a lot of stuff off Zach and Mattress. Like I'll send it, like they pull me up a few times. Maybe I think I need more of like a programmer than a coach.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? Like I don't need someone checking in with me every couple of days or like someone to communicate with. Like I just need someone who's like, hey, these are the workouts we think you should do. And it's like, hey, if I wake up and I'm a bit tired, I can just move the Tuesday to a Wednesday. And it's not gonna annoy anyone. Like I'll be okay. Then I know not to do. Like I just want the workouts. I just want the program for the fridge that I can just do a bit of changing around for when I need to. Croaks, I reckon it could be good for you. Ben Wisby sacked him when he was still good. You ran 2:17 and then he sacked your coach.
Part of my issue is I've got a group here in Canberra, and so I meet them on a Tuesday, and I enjoy like running sessions with them. So if I then get a coach, I'm basically doing completely different stuff unless I just basically get them to do what my coach has given me, which is not really doing them it's doing them a bit of a disservice as well. But also for me, it's like realistically, I think my days of running PBs are done, which means I just don't really want to invest in that.
Yeah, tight with money too, Moose.
No, but I don't know. I just feel like 10, 15 years ago, like if I still feel like I had something to achieve or PBs to run, then maybe. In terms of my short list, like, yeah, obviously going back to Ben and like I did sort of bounce a few ideas, spoke to him a bit in the lead up to Melbourne. Jordan Donnelly, the thing I like about what Jordan, true though, like what he's done with Christian in terms of taking a relatively older guy, like Christian's obviously a fair bit younger than me, but he has managed to put a bit of speed back into Christian's legs, and relatively safely. That being said, Christian's a pretty durable athlete, like he doesn't really break. So I like the fact that Christian's got faster, even though he's sort of at an age where you generally don't get faster. And for me, if I wanted to run a good marathon, I feel like I would have to get faster again. So so that would probably be on my short list. Yeah.
Jordan, you can just tell he cares so much as well. Like, and I'm not saying people don't care, but there's a level of care I think that you pay for when you get a coach, and then he delivers that times 500. Like he wants to see people do well, and that's probably why he's got a tiny stable and doing good stuff there.
And he also gets exposure to a lot of the top groups in the world to see how that they train. And like looking at Christian's training, like it was there's speed work in there, but they're also quite generous with the rests in between sets, which I feel like a lot of distance runners sort of skimp out on the recovery between sets often when they're trying to do speed work.
Good question. Enjoyed that. Moose on the loose. Got something to bring us home with, Moose?
Oh, I don't have too much, actually.
Open up your phone notes.
Oh, one thing this week was like, if you go to a group and someone has a short loop because they're injured or they did a long run the day before or whatever, well, you wouldn't adjust the long run for them, would you? Like they would adjust their short run based off the long run. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
So, like, let's say the group's meeting for a long run, right? And then the shortest outside of that person is going to go for 14K. Well, and that person wants 6K. You're not going to go make a 6K loop and drop them back when the group wants to go way longer. That person just goes out and back. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, especially then if you've got somebody that's doing 30K and somebody wants to do 6 and 14, and then you're constantly doing these small loops.
Yeah. So would you think that the only way that would become the 6K loop is if there's just an enormous superstar in the group that you just kind of has final say and can demand that the group changes for them? Well, that person is Ali Pashley, because that's what happened on Sunday morning. Now, I don't normally go to the girls group, but she decided to do her long run the morning before. And so all of a sudden, Sunday morning becomes the Ali morning 6K loop and then add on extra if you want. and I thought that was a little bit rich. We'd never pull that trick in the boys group, but Ali just rules that girls group.
Yeah,
with
it also depends on your status within the group, I feel, now that we're talking
that's
about
what I
this.
mean. Status is high and she knows it.
Yeah.
So she's got wrapped
She's
around
calling
her.
the shots.
Yeah. She gets a little 6K loop off that when everyone else is going 20 plus.
Don't mind it now, to be honest.
When you're in the Olympics, you can do that. You can pull that shit.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be happening for a world champs rep though. I can tell you. Group would just tell me to fuck off out the back if I got the 3K in.
Yeah, I like that. What's coming up? New York City Marathon this weekend, boys. Bad time in Australia to watch it, though, isn't it? It's like 1 a.m., 12 a.m., something like that. Don't know. But we usually wake up Monday morning to that news. Snooze the bolt. We spoke about that with Sam. Haven't seen Fields yet, but hopefully it always is a good race, isn't it? Those ASICS athletes, they're just dominating too, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
I looked at them at Melbourne, looked at them at like first, second in both the men's and the women's on the weekend. Like, yeah, killing it on the domestic scene. New South Wales 3K champs as well. Croaks, you got a favourite for us there?
No, I'm not really sure who's running, but it's probably the best meet that New South Wales Athletics put on every year. Like, there's just, I don't know how many grades they have, but it's so deep because you got, people coming out of winter. So you've got the 800 guys stepping up to 3K. You've got the pure distance guys coming down to 3K. It's a really good meet.
Yeah. You ever win it? You would have got on the podium there, wouldn't you?
Nah. So I don't know, like 7th or 8th probably.
Okay. You never went up to do it, Moose, back in the AV days when you do the 5K in November? Go up and do that?
I would have liked to go up. I know there's a group from Geelong, Scrivo's group, used to go up and stay up there. It always looked pretty fun, but not me. I wouldn't mind going for the party. It looks like a massive party afterwards, doesn't it? Probably a bit old for that now, but everyone has some good stories about the after party of that.
Do they? Okay.
Crokes, you would have got involved in that?
No, we used to just drive back to Canberra. Get home at like 3 a.m.
Yeah, well, you're not very fun, though. But like a lot of people who have fun used to go out after it.
Yeah. We're done. Boys, what's happening in your life between now and next week? What are you doing, Croaks? Working?
A couple of sessions, couple of days work. Melbourne Cup's following week. But yeah, Viv's heading off for like 10 days with the kids. So just me and Russell living the bachelor life. So
10 days?
Yeah, leaving on Wednesday, back on the following like Saturday. Doing road trip.
What are you going to do?
Might do a couple extra days teaching. But then, yeah, just, I don't know.
A couple of interviews, I think, from you. Let's bank a couple of weekend interviews.
Few beers by the pool.
Sort out that mosquito problem in your pool.
No mosquito problem.
Moose, what are you doing?
What are your workouts this week, Moose?
Yeah, I'm going to do one tomorrow, just like 4 by 6 minutes threshold. It's a real cruisy one. Might end up on the treadie, actually. Then on Thursday or Friday, probably Friday, I'll get out and do a little bit of a track workout. Just some like
track.
72, 74s, 400s, just to wind the legs up a little bit. I've got to run a 3K like a week or two later, so I can't just go from nothing to that.
What would you run for? So what would you run now for 3K, and what do you reckon in a couple of weeks' time you can run for 3K?
I reckon I could probably run 9:15 now. That would be testing me. And I reckon I want to run 9 minutes in a couple of weeks. But I'm not sure if I can or not. That will still test me.
Just don't get injured in this block before the Osaka block.
Oh, I've got to get an entry for that too. Is that open or what's the go with that?
That's scaring me. Person. I think Jetstar got a big Japanese or Japan flights on deals tomorrow.
Oh yeah, who does?
Jetstar.
Righto.
So you probably don't need to worry about those kind of things though.
I've got to get an entry first.
What about you, Brady? Anything exciting happening?
No, not this week. I reckon I'm going to go low for like, I was thinking a month of like under 100 Ks a week. Like I've ran 3 marathons this year, paced 2 female marathons, course records. I was just like, I might really just back things off and like, I was thinking I was going to do 5 by 5 minutes every Tuesday, 10 by 400 every Friday, maybe 80 to 90 minutes on Sunday, jog a bit in between.
5 by 5 minutes ain't enough if you're doing threshold work.
But I'm like just tiny bit of maintaining, like almost getting fit, like just keep doing something there. So when I do go into doing a bit more, it's like I'm not starting from scratch.
No way you're patient enough to do that for more than 2 weeks max.
Well, there's a few also social things on the calendar, so I'm like, it kind of works in well. And I want to put on a few kgs as well, put a bit of weight on, boys.
Do you?
Yeah, I want to get a bit unfit because I'm just constantly at 85, 90% fit for like what it feels like. Like this time last year, we were almost building for Osaka.
Like Sam Clifford guns, hey?
Yeah,
do some bench press with me. We can have like a little bit
when
of
are you going to Fiji?
late 18th November.
Oh yeah, you got a few weeks to get big.
How's that worked for your whole handicap like season? Isn't that going to be like in the middle of it?
I skipped the I don't miss any races.
No.
Oh, I've had
so much running on there.
You're so busy, you can't have a coach with this new store. But I'll just go to Fiji.
Mate, this is a rebook of Bree cancelling her New York trip. We had to do something with that. I haven't had a holiday for like over a year.
Sorry, how many times you been overseas this year though?
They're not holidays, mate. You've got lots to learn. Like when you go out
like
to recess,
I ain't got
when you go out
nothing
on recess and pick on lunch duty, is that your fucking holiday?
I've just come back
Spent
from a
a week
work
on the
trip in
Gold
Chicago.
Coast.
That wasn't a holiday. That was work. I was there for the podcast. I was working then. I was setting up a new store.
I'm ending the show talking some shit.
No. One question for you, Brady. So if you're going to back off,
Yeah.
like have you given any thought to like next year?
Nah, Zach is talking to a couple of races at the moment, like appearance fees and stuff like that, ambassador roles. So whatever he comes back with, we'll decide on. I'll run a couple of marathons. I'll run something in April or May or whatever. I was talking about doing London off a championship start. A couple of mates over there sign up with a UK club, get me in.
Tommy DeCano joined Tommy in London.
Is he doing London, is he?
Yeah, that's what I believe. That's my whisper.
Elite start line or is he off a championship?
You get on the elite line.
Sure.
Yeah.
You'd be close enough.
I don't know, London elite line. Yeah, it'd have to be, wouldn't he? What, he's around 210, 211?
211.
211, yeah.
Pretty good.
Oh, that's interesting he's doing that. Good whisper from you, Croaks. Yeah, we'll see. Nothing. And I'm happy to have, like, the other day I was like, I should do, like, get back up to 90 minutes. And I'm like, why? There's nothing, when I look at the rest of the year calendar, there's not one race I look at and go, oh, yeah, I want to do that.
I feel like Jordan Donnelly's already coaching you. He's doing the old, this is exactly what he did with Chriso.
Nah, he didn't let Chriso do workouts, though. He was just jogging, wasn't he, for a month or something?
Oh, yeah, I don't know, but it was the same sort of thing. Dialing it right back.
Yep, let the body absorb. See ya, boys. Do it all again next week. Thanks for listening, listeners.
Yeah.
See ya.
Thanks for tuning in. Ready to take your race performance to the next level? We've already spoken about Precision Fuel and Hydration's online planner. Well, if you prefer talking to a human, you can also book a free consultation call to get a personalised strategy. We all love their products, and if you use the link in the show notes and the code INSIDERUN15, you can benefit from 15% off your first order and start to fall in love with their products too.